Hello everyone and welcome to ZP Productions. Today we will look at the Hidizs SD2. Now this is provided to me by Hidizs to give an honest review. They just told me to give a review and take some photos of it, and that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at this SD2 itself, and as I'm unboxing it, I will talk a little bit on the specifications. Now this is using the ESS down here wrote as 9270, so this is quite a budget deck. I mean, if you search online, you can actually find that it's also used by Hidizs and also one very obscure brand that uses the same ESS deck. Now, the nearest competitor is actually this one. This is actually the Sennheiser 71, and this is about the same price. I mean, this is like maybe 25 USD, and this is like 40 USD today, 39.90 based on what I saw. But you know what? There is some at least interesting stuff about it, but I'm not too sure. Maybe I just open the box and let you guys see first before we dive too deep into it. Now this is of course the SD2, very nice and small compact thing. This is a single-ended only dongle or deck, so that you can actually plug your earphones in. So let's see what's inside here. Okay, so for this they also provided a few things. Firstly, they provided the Apple conversion. So this is the Apple conversion, so you can plug it in and use it like a Apple dongle. And then this is a one that you can plug into your PC itself. So that is the things that they provide, which is quite good. I mean, rarely do you have a dongle that can use for both Android and Windows and do not cost a lot. I mean, just this cable, this MIFI cable by Apple itself costs quite a bit of money. I mean, normally they are $10 or $20, so this comes with it, so it's great. Well, today I'll be using it with the Android devices, and we'll see how it sounds like in comparison to the Sennheiser 71. As you can see, I unboxed it already, so the only thing about the unboxing maybe is this one. Though they didn't write the serial number here, it's quite interesting. I mean, they stick the thing here, SD2 Black Hidizs, and then the serial number, and then nothing much in the box, as you can see during my unboxing, except for the cable and the USB conversion. So that is it for the unboxing. So let's take a look at the dongle itself. Now this is a very small dongle. I mean, in comparison, you can see that this is almost the size of just the dongle section without the cables, so very portable. Now this is obviously not the absolute smallest dongle I ever have. This is the smallest dongle I ever have. I mean, look at this. This is actually for Apple, and inside there is also a DAC chip, but very tiny. So Hidizs is close, but definitely not the smallest. And since it's single-ended, I will try it with a few things. First, I will try it with their own MS3 for my initial impression, and then I will try it with the more higher-end Moondrop variation. So without wasting time, let's try it out. So I'll be using with my Android phone here, and okay, so normally when you use phone, you do have all these protection covers. So first we need to know whether this actually can fit in with the cover itself. Great, it does fit nicely with the cover. You can see the light goes on, so you can start playing music with it. So without wasting time, let's try with the Hidizs MS3 here. This is the MS3, and we'll try comparing it with, of course, the Sennheiser 71, which uses the AK chip. The exact number, I kind of forget it now, but this is an AK chip. I mean, this itself is actually quite different also. I mean, this chip is not very common to find in portable devices, at least not that I can easily find. Same as the ESS here, only a few. Most of these portable devices actually use Cyrus chip instead. Let's try it out and see how it sounds like. So controlling of the volume for this dongle is through the application itself. I will try with Ibarra first. So initial impression of the Hidizs SD2 with the MS3 versus the 71Hz with the MS3 is that firstly, this is slightly warmer and slightly smoother all around. This is slightly clearer, punchier, and a bit tighter in especially the bass for the start of Ibarra, the song. And also I noticed that the mids just sound a little bit more just a touch more powerful and clearer. How do I put it? This is like a slightly more neutral, cool sound, and this is slightly a more slight touch of more warmthness if you compare to both side by side. So this is of course the first song of Ibarra with the MS3. Now let's choose another song and then try out with the variation. So obviously the variation requires more power to drive. It is less sensitive. I did notice one thing is that for the same volume, the Hidizs does give a louder volume, but does it mean it's more powerful? Based on specs, it's a 70 milliwatt per channel, so I think it's slightly more than 7 Hz. Not too sure, I need to go and check the specs, but I think 70 watt per milli channel for a single ender is perfectly fine, and for IEMs, pretty much all you ever need in terms of power itself. So let's plug in the variation. Now let's try with another song. For this one, let me try with Yusha from YOASOBI. So I tried out the SD2 Hidizs together with the variation from Moondrop, and then of course compare with the 71 Hz, and the initial thoughts are kind of similar as the previous one, just that a few more findings. First, this is definitely slightly more, I think, rounded overall in the sound, slightly smoother. And also, I would say as the overall sound is just a touch warmer. But I did notice that there are a lot of perks of using the SD2. Firstly, I think the details are very distinct. How do I put it? It's like it really tries to showcase that smaller detail. This is very similar to what I feel when I listen to most other ESS decks, and also with, let's say, something from Toping or SMSL. That kind of feel, very, very clean feel. And the cleanliness of the sound really carries through. It's like the darks are really dark, the separation is good, power is great, it's powerful, powerful sounding, but you know, this is like warm and smooth, while this is just neutral and powerful, and the separation is really good on this. I also noticed that the soundstage on the SD2 is definitely bigger than the 71 Hz here. Overall, and not only, oh wait, there's still one more thing. There's also the part on the sub bass. The sub bass for the variation. Now, variation is known to have very strong bass. The variation bass with the SD2 is actually really nice. The sub bass, especially the rumbles, the feeling of the sound, SD2 was way better than the 71 Hz. But once again, if you are looking for more overall smoother experience, I think the 71 Hz is there, but the Hidizs is just kind of like a very clean and perfect sound, and it does drive the variation to really loud volumes with very, very good bass. And of course, not only that, the soundstage also is bigger on this, it's cleaner, separation is better, instruments are more distinct. So if you're the type that likes detail and you like soundstage and you want a bit more sub bass, at this price point, you know, the SD2 was really, really nice. Now, that's about it for sound quality for the initial impression. Overall, I think that, you know, the SD2 has something going for it, and it's definitely something that you will like if you know, like what I described just now. Soundstage, clean sound, you know, stronger sub bass, more power, more clarity, compared to, you know, this one here, the comparison, the 71 Hz. Now, I don't have a Cyrus deck around me now. I mean, that will also provide another distinct sound, at least at this price bracket, because the common one is this chip here, and of course the 43131 from Cyrus Logic. Okay, so there's one thing I want to note, that while using this dongle together with the handphone, is that with these dongles, right, you know, it's easier to have a cable sticking out and then connected to your headphones, and then it follows your headphones around. And it's a little bit more simple, right? But with this, I feel that, you know, this is a fixed shape. So when you do plug in, let's say, some right angle jacks like this, it comes in a very odd angle at times, and I don't know, will it stress the USB too much? Because with this type, the stress is elevated through the extension, small extension cable that moves it around, so you don't stress the connector, the USB-C connector. But this one, I do have a feeling that if you do tug it like this, you notice the USB-C connector gets stuck, because it's actually a much more fragile connector even compared to the stereo jack. So that's something to note with this. I guess when you use it with the iPhone, it is a lot better if you use it with the iPhone. But if let's say you're going to just put your device on the table and just plug in this, I think this is perfectly fine. But if you're going to use it mobile, especially you put it in your pocket, and then this is such a big chunk compared to this connector here, that's some concern to have, at least from the usability department. I did hope that maybe they should give the same cable but for USB-C, and so that people got the option to either use this directly or extend it out so that you relieve the stress on the USB-C connector when you are connecting a cable, because it just flows around rather than getting held back tightly on the phone and then jiggle it, you will stress the USB-C connector. But that's about it. There is something going for this SD2. I think if you ask me from the technical superiority sounding standpoint, I think the SD2 does sound a little bit more refined and more technically competent versus the 7Hz. But it's a different sound signature, and that's something you can try out. Overall, I did like the SD2, and maybe this is something that you can truly consider if you like the kind of very clean sound that this deck provides. So with that, I end my initial impression, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.